I'm Dustin Harder, and this is Keep On Cooking. Hello and welcome to Keep On Cooking, the only podcast dedicated to plant-based cookbooks. I'm your host, Dustin Harder, and baby likes to rock it like a boogie-woogie choo-choo train. I'm here by myself today. I'm going over a series of books, really. This is going to be part one in a 3 cookbook series because I had Issa Chandra on and Terry Hope Romero quite some time ago. You can go back and listen to their episodes. I'm not sure of the exact number of the episodes, but they're both on. Terry Hope Romero has her own episode, and so does Issa Chandra Moskowitz. She has her own episode where we go over their most current book and their favorite books from their long line of many, many cookbooks that they have contributed to the world. But there is this collection of, I want to say this is like a 6x6 in size dessert books essentially from Terry and Issa. It's the Vegan Cupcakes Take Over the World, Vegan Cookies Invade Your Cookie Jar, and Vegan Pie in the Sky. And these came out early 2000s, so I'm holding them up if you're watching. I don't need to tell you. If you're watching, I don't need to tell you I'm holding things up because you can see it. Anyways, we're going to start with the first one. These came out 2006, 2009, 2011, and I think I was first introduced to them by the Vegan Cookies Invade Your Cookie Jar book. A friend of mine, when I was working on the Broadway production of Annie, MK Flint, I believe, said, "Hey, check out this book." Or maybe it was Rachel Spadaro. Maybe it was both of them. We all used to cook together all the time. Rachel also got me a copy of Veganomicon. It was one of the first vegan cookbook gifts I ever received. And I thought it was very kind, very sweet, and inspired me tremendously to get in the kitchen. And hey, keep on cooking. That's the name of the pod, right? But so today I'm gonna do all 3 of these books. This is going to be the first of 3 episodes. And of course, you know how it rolls now with Keep On Cooking. You get me for 1 week. The next week, you get, me with an author. The next week, it's back to me. So you're going to get one of these books. Then you'll get an author next week with another book. And then we'll come back to this series and so on and so forth. You understand here how we're rolling? So we're doing Vegan Cupcakes Take Over the World today. I'm thrilled to chat about this book. I love this little series. I love this book. I love having these sort of smaller books, which I love me a big hardcover book that's like, just full of so much information and recipes and all that. But like these books show you that a tiny little book can pack a punch too. And of course, it's by vegan legends Issa Chandra Moskowitz and Terry Hope Romero offer you in this vegan-friendly recipes for both classic and innovative cupcakes that dominate the baking world. The authors of Veganomicon take on the cupcakes in this sweet and sassy guide to baking everyone's favorite treat entirely clear of animal products. This unique cookbook contains over 50 recipes for cupcakes and frostings with full color photographs. Issa and Terry offer delicious, cheap, egg-free and dairy-free recipes for standards like classic vanilla cupcakes with chocolate frosting. Who doesn't love a vanilla with chocolate frosting? Can we just get into that? It's my mom's favorite. Though she says yellow cake, I think, with frosting, because that was like in the box, right? But like vanilla with frosting, chocolate frosting. I remember as a kid, my mom used to make that for my birthday. The vanilla cake with chocolate frosting. So, and here's a vanilla cupcake with chocolate frosting, crimson velveteen cupcakes, red velvet with creamy white frosting, and Linzer Torte Cupcakes, hazelnut with raspberry and chocolate ganache, as well as innovative Chai Latte Cupcakes with powdered sugar, and Banana Split Cupcakes, banana chocolate chip pineapple with fluffy frosting. And the book also includes gluten-free recipes, decorating tips, baking guidelines, vegan shopping advice, and Issa's own cupcake anecdotes. If you follow Issa at all, and you have been for any amount of time, you know that she's full of little quippy anecdotes, witty this and that's for you. She's just a gal with a dry sense of humor, and she's not afraid to show it off. And this book is for dessert lovers, and vegans will rejoice when Vegan Cupcakes Take Over the World becomes a staple in your kitchen, on your shelf for all your baking cupcake needs. I will say, when I just read Banana Split Cupcakes, I did an episode. I was on Food Network for, they do those sort of one-off cooking shows now. It's not always Chopped and all that, but this one was, what's the name of the show? I always forget. Girl Scout Cookie Championship was the name of it. And our first challenge was to create a cupcake that also had a topper on it. And I did a Sundae cupcake that I made little bowl molds out of, out of chocolate. So there was a little bowl on top with frosting in it as like an ice cream blob, and that sat on frosting. And then there was, I feel like I got a banana on there somehow. I might be wrong on that, but it was some of them made it, some of them fell apart a little bit. I did make it to the second round and it was voted on by a group of people, so I did a good job. But I have a soft spot in my heart for this banana split cupcake. Any ice cream sort of themed cupcake, I think, is what I'm trying to say. And it just made me think of that because, whew, I really went for the goal with that. I did okay. Making cupcakes on a time crunch is very difficult, y'all, because you got to wait for things to cool. And I will tell you, when we were filming that Food Network episode, we walked in, they give you a tour of the set, essentially. And for anyone who cooks in other people's kitchens, you're always like, wait, what's happening? Where's what's going on? And no matter, if I can cook in a kitchen for 4 hours, 6 hours, I'm still kind of going, wait, where's what? Where's this? Where's that? So when suddenly you're tasked in a competition to make things quickly and you're working in a kitchen you've never been in, and the ingredients are all the way across the studio in another portion of the kitchen, that's a lot. It's a lot to go through. So I remember being very confused and feeling very out of body experience in that. And when we walked in, the point of the story is they were like, we've got blast chillers here so you can put your cupcakes in there. They'll chill quickly. You'll be able to frost them. I'm not joking, everybody. And also our toppers, right? A lot of us were making like chocolate molds. Like my bowls were made out of chocolate molds. So those needed to be chilled quickly so that the chocolate seized up quickly. We all went to set. And we were like 5 minutes from filming, which meant we were 5 minutes from that. We actually had a timer. I think we had 90 minutes to do like 3 dozen cupcakes or something. And we were standing there and they were like, oh, hey, everybody, by the way, the blast chillers are not working. So, sorry about that. You're just going to have to navigate. What? We watch 5 bakers about to go on TV and compete against each other lose their minds. They should have been filming that because we were like, I'm sorry, what? And I remember there was one competitor on, we all loved each other, by the way. All the competitors on that show, there were 5 of us and we had a great time. But she made this topper and she's brilliant. I think she's Brooklyn Girl Bakery on Instagram. She's so good. And she made this cake topper for her cupcake topper. It was like this chocolate design. It was a Girl Scout logo, I think. It didn't seize because there was no chiller to put it. So it was just unfair. She didn't make it through to the second round. But guess what? She won that show Sugar Crush on Netflix. So she's not doing too shabby. She done all right. Anyways, enough about me. We're here to talk about this book, Vegan Cupcakes Take Over the World. Now, that intro I just read you said there's more than 50 recipes. Am I getting this confused? I thought I saw 75. Let's say 50. It seems right. Oh, no. See, at the bottom of the book here, it says 75 dairy-free recipes for cupcakes that rule. So maybe there was a new edition that came up. But I do declare there's 75 recipes in here, not just 50. And I want to point out the dedication in the front of this book is to B. Arthur. It says, to B. Arthur, in hopes that she will see this and give us a quote for the next book. We love you, B. I need to message them. We'll see if they message me back. I'm curious if B. Arthur ever said anything or ever knew of it or ever reached out or anything like that. I did not. I looked for a quote in later books from B, and I did not see one. And she passed in 2009. So this book came out in 2008. So I'm going to feel like maybe they didn't get their quote. Hold on, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. You know how we do on a solo episode. I feel like maybe they didn't get their B quote, but I love that they gave a shout out to B. Love it, love it, love it. So let's open this sweet little sassy lady of a book open here. We've got a foreword by Sarah Quinn of Tegan and Sarah. That's cool. We've got an intro, and then we go through cupcakes A to Z. We talk about the metric conversions, ingredients, tools for taking over the world with cupcakes, troubleshooting when bad things happen to good cupcakes. So I love that they're giving you a little troubleshooting guide because listen, baking is finicky, everybody. If you go to Fran Costigan's chocolate book, she was on here, talked about all about her chocolate book. She's big in the beginning of the book. She gives you a whole troubleshooting section because working with chocolate or baking, it can be finicky depending on your environment, right? What the humidity is, whether your oven is heating to the correct temperature or not. Side tip, get a thermometer for the inside of your oven. That way you can always sort of not just rely on the reader on your oven, but you're actually having a thermometer in there to give you the temperature. That's a good way to find if your oven is calibrated correctly. We got another section in here on decorating your cupcakes. So from the jump, they're letting you in on some details on how to tackle the world, how to take over the world with your vegan cupcakes. So they're setting you up for success. And we start with the recipes. The first chapter is basic cupcakes. I'm a purist. We all know this by now. So this is probably the chapter for me. I love getting creative. Don't get me wrong, but I love me just some cake and frosting. I love it. So we got golden vanilla cupcakes, your basic chocolate cupcake, sexy low-fat vanilla cupcakes with fresh berries, simple vanilla and agave nectar cupcakes. That's nice. We're using a different sweetener there. And vanilla gluten freedom cupcakes. Cute. And the next chapter is classic cupcakes. But why don't we take a look at this basics chapter first? Because I'm curious about this sexy low-fat vanilla cupcakes with fresh berries. So that's 41. I'm going to guess maybe it's a cupcake, no frosting, just berries. Oh, that's pretty, actually. It looks like it's a little more involved than that, perhaps. That's a real cute photo. Look at this. So it is just a vanilla cupcake, it looks like, with fresh raspberries and a little drizzle of glaze on top. I love that. Looks yummy, yummy. But I'm trying to see what makes it low fat ultimately, because I don't really need a low fat cupcake. Oh, I see. So we're using some yogurt and applesauce in it. Okay. So I'm not seeing, there is still sugar in it, but maybe it's less sugar than what's usually in it. So I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't really see what the low fat part of this is, but that's all right. That's all right. It was written a long time ago. We know different things now. We know different things now than we knew then. Next chapter, classic cupcakes. I love a classic. I love a basic. I am basic. I'm also extra. I'm all the things. So we get carrot cupcakes with cream cheese frosting. You know I'm here for that. Gingerbread cupcakes with lemony frosting. OMG. Crimson Velveteen cupcakes with old-fashioned velvet icing. Peanut butter cupcakes. Chocolate cherry creme cupcakes. Brooklyn versus Boston cream pie cupcakes. We're going to turn to that one, read more about that. Maple cupcakes with creamy maple frosting and sugared walnuts. Pineapple right side up cupcakes. These are, I love that these, okay, so I get it. We're saying classic because these are sort of based off of cakes, it sounds like, and they are classic things like a pineapple upside down cupcake, but we're sort of innovating it. We're making it a pineapple right side up cupcake, right? So we're turning all these classic things into cupcakes. It's not just your classic cupcake. That's more the basic recipes. S'mores cupcake, chocolate mint cupcake, Brooklyn brownie cupcakes, banana split cupcakes, and chocolate and vanilla marble cupcakes. So what I want to look at is the Brooklyn versus Boston creme pie cupcakes. Come on, page 65. All right, let's see what they have to say about it here. They said, we're not trying to start any trouble between Boston and Brooklyn here. Instead, one might say we've reinvented the classic combination golden cake, vanilla custard, and rich chocolate icing and made it better with a little veganization and in the perfect form of a cupcake. I love this idea. The vanilla vegan pastry cream is not as thick as a frosting, so filling these cupcakes might get a little messy. This recipe makes a generous amount of cream, so don't be stingy when filling those cupcakes. So basically, you're thinking like a Boston cream donut with only as a cupcake with filling in it. That sounds divine. I'm here for it. These cupcakes taste best if allowed to chill for at least an hour before serving. That makes sense. The chocolate ganache topping might look a little dull straight out of the cold, so allow cupcakes to sit at room temperature for about 15 minutes to give their surface that pretty shine to it. So I think what she's talking about is, when you set chocolate in the fridge like that, as I was talking about, the mold seizing, it's going to seize up, right? And it won't have that pretty sheen to it. So if you're serving them in a party or something, maybe you want to set them out just for 10 minutes so that you can bring them out to the crowd and they're shiny. Now I want to go back to, I forgot to read, so I wanted to look at that sexy low-fat vanilla cupcake. Let's see what they say in the intro. They say, So I'm back to the sexy low-fat vanilla cupcake. Sorry to jump all over the place, but it's just where I am. You might think there's no way you could possibly get any sexier with all the cupcake baking you've been doing up to now, but sometimes you just need to fit into that particular pair of pants or skirt or dress or tube top. Love the two words tube top. Tube top. Have you ever seen Drop Dead Gorgeous, the movie? Tube top. That makes you feel sexy, but you're not willing to give up cupcakes. Heard? I'm not willing to give up cupcakes. Correction. There's no freaking way in hell you're putting down those cupcakes. Now you don't have to, thanks to these vanilla scented gems. Huh. I thought this was going to explain the low fat factor to me a little more. It did not. And I'm not seeing how the recipe is low fat, but I'm not going to harp on that anymore. Probably shouldn't have even went back to that because really, I'm not looking for a low fat cupcake when I'm trying to have a cupcake. Give me all the fat and all the sugar. I'm into it. All right. Our next one is fancy cupcakes. I love me a fancy cupcake. Here's your one chance, fancy. Don't let me down. I love a fancy cupcake. I also think cupcakes are a great, this is one of the reasons I love all three of these books, because baked goods are going to impress your non-vegan people in your life. Hands down, always. So you can get any of these books. You've got this cupcake book. You take cupcakes to a party, everyone will be satisfied. I took for La Samia here, the restaurant here in Atlanta. They were open for like a month, and I made vegan cupcakes to just congratulate them and the team. I think it was Employee Appreciation Week, maybe too. And David and I love this restaurant, and we love the owners, Reed and Sophia. And every time we've gone, the staff has actually been overwhelmingly helpful, like so not overwhelming in a bad way, like very knowledgeable and helpful and just so kind and so into serving plant-based food. And so we were going, and I was like, I'm going to make them some cupcakes. And I have no idea if everyone is plant-based or not at that restaurant. And it doesn't matter to me because everyone's living their own lives. But I took them these vegan cupcakes, and I always feel so great taking a batch of vegan cupcakes anywhere. If you can master something to take to a function, a family function, a friend function, let it be a delicious cupcake that you're taking, just with a little dabble of frosting on the top. People get excited about it. People who are not vegan will eat it and just be blown away and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. So you never know. Well, it is a dose of sugar. You never know what little seed you're planting there, right? Where they can be like, oh my gosh, if this vegan cupcake is great, maybe I'll try this plant-based burger. Maybe I'll try this, whatever it is, plant-based pizza, anything. And then eventually maybe that leads to a green smoothie. And then we're getting more veggies in people's diets. See how that is a slippery slope? A cupcake just turned into a green smoothie. I'm a magician, gosh darn it. Okay, fancy cupcakes. Here we go. Fancy cupcake chapter. Toasted coconut cupcakes with coffee butternut cream, but with coffee butter cream frosting. Apricot glazed almond cupcakes. Chocolate stout cupcakes. Dulce sin leche cupcakes. Lemon macadamia cupcakes with lemon butter cream. Come on. Green tea cupcakes with green tea glaze and almond flowers. Never saw that coming. Orange pudding cupcakes. It says pudding, sorry. Orange pudding cupcakes with chocolate ganache. We're going to go look at that one because that sounds out of this world. Mexican hot chocolate cupcakes. Coconut lime cupcakes. Hazelnut cupcakes with mocha hazelnut mousse filling. Oh my gosh. Pistachio rosewater cupcakes. Listen, do you mess with rose? Everyone listening, the flavor of rose? I don't ever mess with it. I've gotten some things with it, and I'm like whatever with it. I don't hate it or anything. I'm just kind of like, oh, rose. Okay, it's not like a flavor for me. DM me. Tell me how you're feeling about rose flavored things, right? I lost where I was here because did I already say these chai latte cupcakes? I did. Okay. Oh, the next one. Tiramisu cupcakes. Let's get into it. Lychee cupcakes with coconut glaze, rum raisin cupcakes with rum glaze and rummy buttercream, pumpkin chocolate chip cupcakes with cinnamon icing. That sounds like it needs to be made, needs to become a tradition in my life every fall, is what I'm thinking. Cashew butter cardamom cupcakes with rich cashew butter frosting. OMG. Apple cider cupcakes. Oh, I wonder if that's like apple cider donuts in the fall. David would love those. I mean, Y'all, I'm doing the hard, heavy lifting here for you with this cookbook podcast because I put myself through it. I'm reading this right now and I'm like, I want to make like so many things out of this. And they're cupcakes. I gotta have places to go, places to take them to. So, what a fun idea if you got these books and you started baking your way through them and taking them to everyone you knew, right? I'm just basically telling you what I want to do with my life that I can't do because I'm so busy baking and cooking so many other things. But I hope someone latches on to my new challenge I've given you for vegan cupcakes take over the world and you bake your way through the book and take treats to everyone you know. The next cupcake is Mucho Margarita Cupcakes, then blueberry lemon creme cupcakes, and cappuccino cupcakes filled with espresso cream. Oh, I love it. I love every second of it. All these cupcakes. Now, okay, that actually takes us through. So I'm going to go look at some of these a little closer. And also, the next chapter is frostings and fill-ins, and then we kind of end out the book, which makes sense. It's a shorter book, and then you can come back in a couple weeks and hear the next one, which is vegan cookies and Vage your cookie jar. But let's look closer at some of these. So, orange pudding cupcakes with chocolate ganache. So that's page 101. And let's see what we're doing here. Pudding. Hey, pudding. Orange pudding cupcakes with chocolate ganache. Citrus lovers will be thrilled to pieces over this luscious cake. We cannot resist the chocolate orange combo, but you can also make a creamsicle cupcake by using orange buttercream frosting. A creamsicle cupcake, not even listed in the fancy cupcakes. They're just giving you the idea here, so I'd say go for it. Or you can skip the filling and add a cup of chocolate chips instead. Oh, I want the filling. I want this orange filling. Prepare the pudding 2 hours before you make the cupcakes. You can even make it a day ahead, but you will need to stir the pudding before piping it into the cake. Prepare the ganache right before assembling the cupcakes. It needs to be warm and melty so that it can seize, right? Now, for the pudding, we're making this with soy milk, freshly squeezed orange juice, tapioca flour, cornstarch, or arrowroot, granulated sugar, vanilla extract, turmeric for color, it's optional, and orange zest. So what's interesting to me about this, pudding is a mystery to me. I feel like I should just be able to make it vegan with cornstarch or arrowroot or tapioca flour, but I easily get like very like flummoxed by it. I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. This is pudding. I feel like there just needs to be more science to this. But I don't think there is because look at that. And that sounds amazing and easy and so delicious. We'll go over the ganache later. That's in another chapter. Let's look at these pistachio rosewater cupcakes. I know I said rosewater is not really for me, but maybe it's for you. So let's take a look at the pistachio rosewater that are very pretty, by the way. Um, it's got pink sprinkles and pistachios on it. It's a very pretty photo. It says a pretty moist and nutty cupcake that we like to think would be the perfect finale to a lavish Persian feast if anyone ever invited us to one. We love the simple rosewater icing that tops these cupcakes, but for something different, whip up a batch of vegan fluffy buttercream frosting made with a teaspoon of rosewater and tint it a pretty pink if you're feeling particularly girly. So look at that. I love that. And it does sound good. Let's take a look at the tiramisu cupcakes, shall we? And then we'll look at another one after that. I'm just curious what they do here. Are we putting espresso powder in it? What are we doing? So, tiramisu cupcakes. If you serve these cupcakes on your first date, don't be surprised if your suitor becomes clingy. We suggest playing it cool and serving it on your second or third date. Traditional tiramisu is made by soaking ladyfingers in coffee and marsala wine, but we prefer the taste that coffee liqueur brings to the party. They can get messy, so serve on a small plate with a cute little fork. I love that. You can usually find little forks at a kitchen supply store for under $1, and it's worth it for moments like this. You can also make these a few hours ahead, but they should be served on the same day. Okay, so you have a cream cheese frosting on this. You're using the golden vanilla cupcakes. And then you're adding some espresso or strong coffee, and then also Kahlua or coffee flavored liqueur, and then some traditional ingredients. Well, some cinnamons in here and cocoa powder. So that sounds like the perfect flavor combination for the tiramisu. I also want to talk about, because she's saying you eat it with a fork. I love eating a cupcake with a fork. I also love, I think Taylor Swift was on a talk show. Kelly Clarkson had somebody on her show. Maybe Sandra Bullock. All of my queens are running together right now. But someone showed Kelly Clarkson the great way to eat a cupcake is to pull it in half, like vertical, horizontally. I don't know what I'm saying. You pull the top apart from the bottom, and then you take the frosting and you squish it to make a frosting sandwich with the cupcake, essentially. I will never do this, but I found it fascinating. I will never do it because there's something I've gotten used to and something I so look forward to in the ratio of a lot of frosting being on top to cake on the bottom. I don't know what it is. But for those that really want to get that equal balance of like a little frosting sandwich, there you go. Pull the top off, flip it over, and smush that frosting in between the two pieces of cake in your cupcake. And you got yourself a little cupcake sandwich there. So let's see what else we got here. Oh, the pumpkin chocolate chip cupcakes with cinnamon icing. Let's take a look here. Oh, you'll love this, listeners. I've got the page is dog-eared in here. So I have either I've made these, which is quite possible. I've made several from this book over the years. Nothing lately, because I have not been able to indulge in cupcakes the way I would like. I'm telling you, if I didn't know what work went into running a bakery, I would be running a bakery because I love it. But I also can't be around baked goods and cupcakes that much because I just want to eat them. I just want to eat them. They're so yummy and delicious. Okay. Pumpkin chocolate chip cupcakes with cinnamon icing. We love the taste of pumpkin and chocolate. Who doesn't? Am I right? We didn't spice this up too much, so not as to upset the delicate balance. The icing is a tiny amount piped on to give a little something something. Just let someone try and call this a muffin. Aha. Okay, so we got the pumpkin. I mean, it's pretty standard here. We got the pumpkin muffin with chocolate chips in it. I love that. And then cinnamon icing. The cinnamon icing is very simple. We have confectioner's sugar, ground cinnamon, a little bit of vegan butter, soy milk, and vanilla extract. I also want to show you, I mean, even if you're not watching here, it's great. They've put like the frosting goes in its own little box on the side there. So if you're looking for like peeling through and looking for frosting aside from the frosting chapter they have, you can also like easily source it out by seeing that indicator of it being in its own box. We also have these peanut butter cupcakes that I just randomly turned to. So let's see what we got here. We also call these Jimmy Carter cakes because he was a peanut farmer and he loves solar energy. Huh. But no one cares about that, they say. What they do care about is that these cupcakes are pushed to the maximum peanutty capacity and still remain moist and fluffy. And that is almost as important as solar energy. I don't know if I agree, but at the same time, I love peanut butter. Peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly in a baseball bat. Y'all ever heard that sound clip of Celine Dion? Someone asked her what her favorite food is. She goes off on peanut butter. I love it. But these peanut butter cupcakes, they look perfect, and they have a little ganache drizzle over the top. So you're getting your little chocolatey peanut butter combo. All right. Final chapter in this book. Frostings and fillings, okay? Vegan fluffy buttercream frosting, rich chocolate ganache topping, chocolate buttercream frosting, orange buttercream frosting, brown rice caramel glaze. That actually sounds brilliant. Coconut pecan fudge frosting, supernatural agave icing, peanut buttercream frosting or filling, not too sweet blueberry mousse, chocolate mousse topping, vegan cream cheese frosting, raspberry buttercream frosting, quick melty ganache for decorating, and thick chocolate fudgy frosting. I want to look at the raspberry buttercream because did y'all hear my sort of kind of British accent there? Y'all know we have the Great American Baking Show now, right? That is a thing. So if you're into the Great British Baking Show, which I kind of think everyone is, we now have the Great American Baking Show. I will tell you, I haven't watched it. But I'm not a fan of this. And not because I'm like, oh, we're gonna mess it up. We could be great at it. I don't care. The Office ended up being fantastic, right? But I just feel like, can we not take this thing? Can we just let it be the Great British Baking Show and let it maintain its charm in that arena? So I'm a little bummed out by it. I just really want it to be, I want it to be the UK's and I want it to be theirs. And I want that to be the source for it. I just don't think we need to do. We're watching it over here, so why does there need to be the American version of it? That's just me. Sorry, everybody. You can get mad all you want. I mean, I'm sure I'll still watch it. Ellie Kemper's a host. I love her. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad at anyone who's involved with it or anything. I'm just giving my own opinion. Why are you shouting at me? Why are you so mad at me? Oh, I must stop talking to myself. I talk so much to myself that by the time I talk to somebody else, I'm exhausted. Okay. Raspberry buttercream frosting. We've got non-hydrogenated shortening, the margarine, 2 cups confectioner's sugar, 4 tablespoons raspberry syrup or a half teaspoon raspberry extract or strawberry extract, drop of red food coloring. So let's read what they have to say about this. Another ongoing project at Vegan Cupcake R&D is creating the perfect raspberry buttercream. We've tried fresh raspberries, reductions, preserves, all either not having enough flavor or tasting too much like preserves. And raspberry extract seems to be a little elusive. So in this version, raspberry syrup gets the job done. This is the kind of syrup that's used for lattes and Italian sodas. I see, by baristas everywhere. Avoid any other kinds of syrup, as in stuff for waffles or pancakes. Try to use an all-natural brand for best flavor. It also gives the frosting a nice natural looking mauve tint, but you can always add a drop of red food coloring if that's how you roll. If you do happen to be the proud owner of actual raspberry extract, it makes a fine addition to this recipe as well. And so does strawberry extract. So that's very interesting. I was curious to see if they used fresh raspberries or what they used in this. And I love that they explained in that header there why they went the route that they did. And the barista syrups. Never thought of it. That seems rather genius. Let's see how they make their ganache, and then we'll wrap this up here. We've got quick melty ganache, and it's just 3 tablespoons soy creamer or soy milk with a 1/3 cup semi-sweet chocolate chips. So heat the soy creamer in a small saucepan over medium heat until it just simmers. Remove from the heat, add chocolate chips and stir the chocolate until it's completely melted and the creamer is incorporated. Set aside and allow to cool for 10 minutes. With a spatula, scoop into a prepared pastry bag or plastic bag with the tip chopped off, or drizzle haphazardly with a fork. Quick melty ganache will set fully when cooled. I was curious about this because, I spoke about that chocolate book by Fran Costigan, and she goes over at length sort of troubleshooting ganache in there. And I've taken a baking class with Lady Costigan as well. She is the queen. And David and I took a baking class with her many years ago. And we made the ganache in the class, and I made it fine there. And I remember like 2 times after I made it fine. And every time I've tried to make it from the book now, I run into some sort of disaster. And I think it's because I'm trying to shortcut it or I'm moving too fast. But like hers entails heating up the milk, putting the chips in, and then you cover it. So you trap the heat in. So I was just curious if that did that. This seems like you straight up melt it, stir the chips in, let it set for 10 minutes, and you're kind of good to go. So I'm all for an easy ganache, because even though I learned from the best, I learned from Fran how to do that ganache. It turns out years later, when I go back to it, I'm still kind of like, oh, what did I do? And how do I do it? But hey, that's why we have books like Vegan Cupcakes Take Over the World by Chandra Moskowitz and Terry Hope Romero. I hope you will get a copy of this. I love this book. And I love the one that's going to follow it up. Not next week, but the week after, I will cover the follow-up to this. Vegan cookies, invade your cookie jar. So I hope you will join me for that. Of course, you can find me on Instagram at The Vegan Roadie, and you can follow me at veganroadie.com. Get yourself in the kitchen, keep on cooking, and hey, remember, it's nice to be nice. This has been a Muzzy Cat production.